wouldn't know if it's the season or we're back to structural defects from non-cooperating contractors. 2 building collapses. With the Alakija Berry building, it's about 8 casualties, 26 injured. And of course, unfortunately, we might just have more before the end of the day. And of course, questions are being asked about how we got to this point. We also understand that state police legislation is nearing its completion. So hopefully in the coming days, we would have state police actively working across the country. Also, we understand that the CBN has signaled about 6 different accounts to be flagged by banks for terror financing. We hope that this investigation doesn't ask the innocent, and so many other things happening around the polity. And of course, here in Onitsha, Franklin, I noticed something this morning. I'd give a big shout out to Onta and Atma officials who are on the roads. A massive shout out to them, because without them, there'll be little or no sanity. All right. But their excesses still need to be checked. This morning, I legit witnessed an Atma official telling a keke driver, "You must obey me first and park." Guess what, my friend? This driver did not commit any offense. His offense was that that is inside the keke, told him or tried to explain to him that this guy didn't actually jump the queue. He tried to avoid, because they are boys, they are team members. How would you, in the middle of the road, stop a vehicle because it jumped traffic from afar? You get me? So you stop the person in the middle of the road. People are queuing behind the person, and they all start to find their ways out of the person's back. And then the people in front start to also hold them. And we tried to explain to him, "Oga, no, he did not jump traffic." And he said, in fact, Oga Park, in his words, "He must obey me first." I said, "Is that what we're on the road to do? To spread shoulder. Woman must not tell you that's a tricycle driver carrying her." We're all adults and we're all responsible. And if I cannot defend someone who is rendering a service to me, what kind of adult am I? And in 2026, someone is saying, because of my gender. When we talk about training, this should be part of it. Gender sensitization should be part of training that people who serve the public need to be getting. My name is Chisom Chinedu. Good morning to you. Franklin Ebuka is...
Could you say any one more time?
My name is Chisom Chinedu. And yes, I am a woman and I am an adult who should be able to defend someone who is rendering a service to me.
Okay, so it boils down to the issue of where people become authority themselves, and whenever they feel that the authority has been slighted, they want to rub it on your face that you do not dare to do this. And it boils down to what you talked about, people being sensitive, understanding nuances, understanding that when they're on the road, they are not authority themselves, and they should also act in a manner that thinking about it, they take an offense. So it boils down to the issue of that very training, making these people to understand that when you're on the road, your job there is to direct. Your job there is to, guide people, not actually to exert authority. It's quite unfortunate, those who are doing the right thing, of course, we commend them, we salute them. But those who are not doing the right thing, of course, we try to let them to know that now, yes, there are some cases whereby people talk to them in an unruly manner, and each of them had to take water from the borehole, from the tap. Wike took, Shetima took, and one of them they took water from the tap.
They drank.
Shetima drank his own. The other man drank his own. Wike refused to drink it. The water supply he did and called it ultra-modern Karu water supply network in Abuja, but he couldn't drink the ultra-modern water. What does that tell you? They are not being sincere to themselves, because if the water was actually treated, he won't have any reason not to drink the water. But perhaps he had just gotten somebody to drill a borehole, mount an overhead tank, put a stand, and call it ultramodern water. It speaks of our, hypocrisy and dishonesty to the people. And I rest it at this point.
All right, Dr. Tony Lisambeki is here with us. Good morning, Tony.
You know what I was actually looking at?
Tell me.
I just surfed the internet, and a man was trending, a particular pastor. a particular pastor based in Enugu was trending. I was wondering, why is this pastor trending? And the man is a bishop. Guess what? The pastor was said to have, not pastor, bishop.
Who dug it up? Because this trended over a month ago.
Is it the one is it the one that sells Holy Ghost thunder?
The one on a red dress, yeah?
Yes.
He said he's always story now. You are late to the party
what
now.
What was he trending for? Let me understand.
You are late to the party, Tony. The same thing,
No, I need to know what he's trending.
You tell me what you saw him trending for.
I said I'm going on X right now, and the man was trending. If it was late, why is it trending now?
Because somebody dug it up.
Maybe I don't know.
Well, not too bad things for this country.
All right, good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, in the Anambra. Good morning, in the Onitsha. Good morning, in the Osimo. Good morning, Omona. Good morning, everyone under the reach of our voice. Everyone, those who are rendering essential services, even services that are not essential but are doing it committedly. We say good morning to you, teachers, farmers, spiritual leaders, everyone, market men and women, and those who are in different professions, are professionals across different fields. Those who are dedicated and committed, not those who are on any vehicle with tinted glasses. That's what he said. And he said that it's not a case of payment or no payment, that you do not have the right to tint a vehicle once you're cited, that the police will arrest you. And I have one question for him. Which law says that you don't have right to tint your vehicle? Because some of these vehicles come with factory-fitted tints. Yes, they come with factory-fitted tints. And he was actually saying that many criminals perpetrate crime using tinted vehicles. And I keep asking, you have the right to flag down any vehicle, any suspicious vehicle. Flag it down. Let the person bring down the glass. Make search. I don't see how cars being tinted or not tinted allows crime. Since you can flag down a vehicle, you can ask the person to bring the glasses down. What's the big deal? You can make the search. So if it is tinted, so it means that you can easily allow cars that are not tinted. For me, that is not policing. Policing should be led by intelligence. And I keep asking, whatever we do must be done within the ambit of the law. If you say tinted glasses allow crime, the question is, does it mean you cannot flag such tinted glasses down, ask them to bring their glasses down, make a search, get whatever you want to get? Is it not somehow lazy work when you say it must be clean so that it will be easier for you? For me, it's lazy. But that's by the way. And also you talked about wicked drinking or not drinking a glass of water, and you do as if you are taking it and give it up.
Tony and Becky, if you cook for a community and you cannot taste the food you are giving us, my brother, that is the actual lack of sincerity.
Let me even tell you what it was too. In Igbo land, when you go for an event and they serve you food, I don't know if people do it. Maybe they have served you like 2 varieties of food or 3 or 4, and you're going to scoop from each of them and eat before everybody, before the people will join you in eating. What does that show? To show that what you have been served is, edible and at the same time devoid of any kind of any poisonous substance. That's what that signifies. So if he can drill a borehole, or if he can do ultramodern water supply for people of Abuja, people of Karo, and couldn't drink from the ultramodern water supply, it speaks volume. Then I forgot something when I was talking about some of the issues that are trending. In Anambra State yesterday, there was this very viral audio that went where somebody alleged that he saw helicopter dropping unknown items in a bush between Nimo and the Adazin Nubu in a national local government area. And it sent panic among people. People were raising concerns, asking questions, what is happening? Have they come after us and what have they not? And the police in Anambra State issued a statement saying that they have done their investigation and nothing like that happened. But people didn't believe him. Or people didn't believe the police. Now, I gathered that the man who did that has been arrested. I watched his video. He's been arrested. And guess what? When he was questioned, he said he didn't see anything. He said he didn't see any helicopter. He just felt like making the video.
Wow.
And I keep asking myself, why do people just sit down somewhere and cook up stories and send that because they want to create panic. Like,
What if he also did see something, but he was?
What do they gain from that?
What if he also did see something, but he had to?
Deny.
Retract. Yes.
On what? On what?
I mean, being arrested.
No, he's already arrested. Okay, see what happened. The first time, nobody said, please go, even go. Community leaders went to his house and took us, okay, let's go to the place where you saw it and show us where you saw this very thing. And he said he didn't see anything. Do you understand? Police hadn't even met him. It was between him and the community leaders. He said
it was just an alarmist.
So I'm just wondering why people should just sit down and cook things and put out there. What do they want to achieve? Is it because they want to scare people? Is it because they want to put up a narrative? I don't know what actually, influences that kind of thing. And then finally, Kenneth Okonkwo, he's going to have a date with the court because finally, the Anambra State High Court in Onitsha has issued a summon to him, asking him to appear before that very court within 42 days in connection with the alleged defamation suit, which Mr. to be filed. I'm going to share the document. You see that the writ of someone, it was dated June 25. So what that means is that from that yesterday, the days are counting when he's going to, appear before the court. Because I was thinking that the threat made by Bill was going to end on the pages of newspapers, but it seems like he's determined to ensure that Kenneth Okonkwo proves what he said on TV. So let's see what is going to happen in the coming days. And aside from the suit filed by Mr. Obi, I also learned that the two other persons have also filed suit against Kenneth Okonkwo on issues around defamation. So maybe he might be having a good time in the court in the coming days.
All right, then we're going to tell you what the front pages of the papers say. And right after that, we'll get into the analysis proper. We start to dig into these matters, start to eat and digest them. On the front pages of the Vanguard, Daily Sun, Guardian, and Punch. I'll start with the Vanguard. Our worries on stage pleased by parties, other stakeholders. That's on page 5. The riders are funding crunch, abused by governors, thugs in uniform, top concerns. XCP warns many states can't pay salaries, exposes structure to raw corruption. LP, Obani demand ironclad legislative firewalls. Sanwo-Olu hails epochal shift. There's PRP, NNPP, CUPP flay Tinubu's alleged hasty reform. Political parties, legal heavyweights raise alarm over 2027 polls. Senator Arise seeks tight legislative checks. Weak local government areas may sink entire project. Experts are speaking. There's a picture story here. More evacuees arrive in Lagos from South Africa. Xenophobia, FG repatriates 66 more Nigerians from South Africa. Find the full story on page 9. Terror financing, FG moves to charge US sanctioned Bureau de Change operator. CBN freezes accounts of Adamu Siroma. 4 persons, 1 Bureau de Change. That's on page 9. Frank, Adamu Siroma, does it ring a bell?
Yeah, of course.
From where?
Yeah, it does.
From where?
It's a popular person in Nigeria.
Popular in Nigeria.
Yes.
Every YX script has that example. Adamu Siroma.
He never passes the exam.
Venezuela twin quakes kill at least 164, with many trapped under rubble on page 9. Lagos mall collapse. Baby girl, 8 others fade dead. 26 rescued on page 7. Marketers retain high petrol. If you're buying crude at $72 per barrel, that's nearly what we were buying when the depot price was somewhere around 700.
I think the last time when he was selling for 800 or something naira, the crude price was close to $68, $70.
Tell me about it.
But the point is, we have not seen the proportionate reflection in reduction, because you look at it from the angle of when the oil price.
With what we are saying now, you see, we're going to be surprised the way this is going to pass. It's going to pass swiftly, because I believe that those who are behind this, they have done their homework in quote very well. They've been able to coerce everybody into it, because now it is believed that we are in emergency period. So all hands must be on deck to get this thing passed without any hiccup. But I keep on saying, while we are doing this, let's not forget to do the needful. Because at the end of the day, we end up having the same police we all crave. But if an urban
More things will start being.
All right. So let's look at this very headline on the Daily Sun. It says IPOB raises Kano's conviction at U.S. Civil Society Forum. That story is on page 25 of Daily Sun. CBN initiates crackdown on terrorism suspects to freeze account of terror financiers, BDC operators, other banks. Okay, that story is on page 6 of Daily Sun newspaper.
All right, then let's go to the next paper on our desk today, and let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. The banner headline here is 36 speakers backstage, please. Final test begins. It has a couple of riders. It's on page 2, by the way. Speakers vow to prioritize state please bill as assemblies brace for debate. New state please bill broadens. Please cancel admits NBA, NLC, rights panel, others. Earlier comments NAS over passage of state please bill as Kano Assembly meets governor. CBN orders banks to freeze 6 terror suspects' accounts on page 26. On page 25, Dangote Refinery eyes $2 billion in historic listing. That's according to a report there. And there's a picture story of what's happening in Venezuela. 188 die, 1,500 injured in Venezuela earthquake disaster. On page 9, Lagos building collapse, death toll hits 8, 26 rescued. Pages 4 and 5, Tinubu vows safe return of abducted Oyo teachers' pupils on page 9. And those are the stories you'd find on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
Okay, so on Guardian newspaper, the big story is on pages 4 and 5, and the story says, for service or sanctuary, posers over ex-governors push for legislative seat. I like this very headline, for service or sanctuary, posers over ex-governors push for legislative seats, on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Another headline says, high petrol prices persist as Nigeria faces $11.5 billion crude oil loss, on page 3. Power debt row deepens as Genco's challenge ministers 501 billion naira payment claim, on page 3. Appeal court to hear ADC order suit against deregistration, July, on page 7. And then if you look at this picture story there, you see the animation of ex-governor's journey to to the National Assembly. When is it going to end? See the way they are lined behind themselves moving to the Senate House. Then this one says Ramaphosa denounces xenophobia as more Nigerians, others leave South Africa. The story is on page 7. It appears like the state is sponsoring what is happening in South Africa, because each time South African president speaks, he doesn't speak in a manner that depicts that the government of the South Africa is against what is happening. He only speaks in a way where he talks about the country is not going to allow immigrants who are illegal to do this, do that. But yet it appears like what is happening there is more pronounced in certain areas. I was speaking with a friend who is based in South Africa 2 days ago, and she told me that for them they live in Northern Cape, and she said that they've been cool. They haven't had any iota of that kind of disturbance. But those who live in Joburg, the enhanced monitoring on page 18. And the last story on the front page of Guardian says, Army police reject fresh moves to deploy repentant terrorists. That story is on page 29 of Guardian. So if they are rejecting the deployment of these very persons for security assignment, then who is behind that framework or that policy of getting terrorists to repent and then reintegrate?
Constantly be talks in the first place, or even be repurposed in the first place. But I'd like to understand why you think that these collapses happen. Some other persons have also raised concerns about the season. Is it possibly a cause?
Well, we know very well that Nigeria is what it is, and where everything goes. There is lack of standardization, there's lack of regulation from every end. Whenever you hear a building collapses, many people are at fault. Government is at fault. Agencies of government are at fault. Even the people who put the building together, they are also at fault. It's a question of regulators failing to do what they are supposed to do, or even compromising it. Why doing that? That is one. And secondly, not following guidelines. How many times have you heard that a building collapsed in UK, or a building collapsed in Germany, or a building collapsed in USA? How many times have you heard something? Have you heard some kind of news? Because agencies work, institutions work, government work. But here, nothing works. If you go to any of them, the moment the child is, in fact, fetus is formed, government takes over. And that's the way it should be.
Does government really take charge? I mean, it's one thing to be responsible for something, or would I say to have the responsibility of taking care of something, and then to actually be responsible for that thing. Because, like you pointed out, we are talking about construction regulation here. Like I said earlier, there was a time it was everywhere, and it stopped. That's why I asked you that question. Did we stop seeing it because of under reportage, or something was done differently? And again, I've been trying to find out, like I told you earlier, to see if these buildings were anything new, because it would actually lead to the scope of what is going on. Some people say the Lagos building is a residential apartment. Now, I wouldn't know if it's been there for long. At the time it was constructed, what were the regulations and all of that? But at the center of it all, Tony, is something wrong, okay? Something wrong with the construction. I mean, a building that was constructed properly would not collapse in the first place. And if the regulators are not doing what they are supposed to do, the persons who invest in properties that are substandardly constructed, do they not realize that this is penny wise, pound foolish? Because at the end of the day, you are losing everything, like they have lost in these collapsed buildings.
Let me point to different regulators we have as far as building is concerned. Whenever a building collapses, do you know the first person I hold responsible? Not even the builder, not even the developer. I hold government responsible, and that's the way it should be.
I understand you, Tony.
Now, let me let you know that people can always try to cut corners to maximize profits, because people who are in business, what they usually do is to look for ways to cut corners. And for you to cut corners, you'll be compromising on a number of things. Quality, standard, regulation, you compromise. If I tell you that in this country there is National Building Code, NBC of Nigeria, 2006. And this is the primary national framework setting minimum standards for the design, construction, alteration, maintenance, use of buildings. It covers structural integrity, even fire safety, environmental requirements, materials, professional responsibility, energy efficiency, accessibility. Let me ask you, do you know that buildings are done without certain safety mechanism being inspected on? Do you know that for you to have a building, a story building or an apartment, it should have certain standard, like maybe issues of you talk about the environmental requirements, also materials. I'm also looking at the issues that have to do with even fire safety. Tell me, how many buildings do you have around this Onitsha or where you stay,
Tony?
How many buildings do you think have fire safety mechanism?
Do you realize that while construction is going on, ndị ego dị n'ọsha and ndị na-abịa na-ego anị na-ego ewu visit the site more than regulators?
No, that's the point. Because, yesterday, or I think it was 2 days ago, I don't know if I briefed any of you. I was with one of the local government chairmen we have in Anambra State. I spent almost all the day with the person. We're actually talking about issue of development levies collected by different communities. And it was stated, in fact, it was something that the government front at, because it was brought before the governor.
Oh.
Do you know that no community has right to collect development levy? But they are doing it.
You know why? I didn't even bring that up because
it's a different story.
To go into that. My point is that at the end of the day, these people even care more about what you are doing than these government agencies. And that is why I took it down to the investor.
Now,
why would you, in good conscience, do this penny wise, pound foolish thing to yourself? Now, we are talking now as fellow Nigerians.
I understand your point. You're coming from an individual end that anything not done good, you have to do it twice.
You're doing it
There are
yourself.
people who believe that it is a risk, 50-50. It may work or it may not work.
It may work on top. You are missing one bag of cement with 17 pounds of sand. Are you okay?
Let me say this. We have even Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Act, Decree number 88 of 1992, as amended by Act number 18 of the 1999 Cap 138 laws of the Federation of this country, 2004, which governs land use planning, even development, control, building setbacks, heights, and permits at the federal level. There are so many of these professional bodies that are also into building construction. Are you going to talk about even the developers? They have got quite a number of them. The Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. The question is, what have they been regulating? The Architects Registration Council of Nigeria, ARCON, what have they been architecting? Even the Environmental Impact Assessment is an agency. Even National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency. There are so many of these agencies. Even Lagos State Building Control Agency, where we are talking about. Even the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority. See, we've got so many of these. These people are paid salary. These people, they are paid entitlements. These agencies exist in principle. In fact, they exist in nomenclature. They don't do anything. Institutions don't work. It is in the heart of man. Jason, you wish. The question you raised on why would a developer miss how many
one bag of cement, and you're using 7 to 8 pounds of
tubes of sand. Now the question is, the same question you asked, why would crime still exist in our society when everybody knows that crime does not pay? It's the same question. So it cannot go. That is why we have government. Government is there to make sure that those who would want to take short corner, who would want to do such mixing, because there will be integrity check from time to time. But do they have the capacity? And I've said some of these roles, some of them are at the national level, some are at the subnational. That's why I've said subnationals should take more control. Even the ones that are also they are not doing it properly. They don't even have the capacity. We are celebrating the other day that the government of Anambra State has converted the fiscal planning into a full-fledged ministry. Are we not celebrating? So the question is, are we going to have something different?
Okay, so Tony, let me add to what you're saying to buttress a point, because when he says that everything rises and falls on the table of government, there's a very valid point there.
Absolutely.
Why is because that when you talk about the issue of the inordinacy of the quest of a man, it can be controlled by the government. And when I talk about the inordinacy of the quest of a man, is whereby maybe somebody goes to a there that regulates engineering practice and what have you. But we have seen many engineers who don't actually know the job. I must tell you that I'm not an engineer, but from mere knowledge, you will know that before you embark on any kind of construction, you do a whole lot. The land survey is there.
Even the soil test.
Of course, the soil test is there. You do a whole lot of tests to ensure that you get your facts right. You do the environmental impact assessment. All these things are supposed to be there before you get on board to do any kind of construction. But what we see is that these things are never done. Now, if you go to Lagos, you see that at a point in time, do you know that a part of Atlantic Ocean was recovered and people built on it, and nothing has happened there? It's because people who know the job were able to do that. State Fubara, he was at the site to see things before himself. Now, one person has been confirmed dead, and several persons, were injured in that very incident that happened. Now, when this man got them, I'm talking about Fubara, when he got them on Thursday, he said he didn't come on Wednesday because he was waiting for briefing from the commissioner. So when he got the briefing from the commissioner, he now came on Thursday. Guess what he said? He said that when the job was ongoing, the construction was ongoing, that people, regulators were going to the site. They want to supervise. But guess what? At the end of the day, they now found out that it wasn't even under the federal government jurisdiction. Rather, it was under state jurisdiction. That developer was just trying to deceive them to ward them off on that very site. And I'm now asking myself, when government gives that kind of an excuse, what are we, the common men? I mean, what are we going to do? Because, like what Tony said, you see, government, after God, is government. They to convert it to 5-story building. And
All
look
right.
at what happened.
I think, let me say
Let's
this.
give me a second, Tony. Can we play this audio from the site?
Okay.
And then we'll quickly round off on this because we have so many other matters and we're fast eating into our time.
I was inside the house washing and I heard the sound. When I ran out, I noticed the whole place was filled with dust. So when I came out, I saw that the fence has been broken down. The building is down already.
So far, they've been able to rescue 2 persons that were severely injured, and they have been rushed to Rivers State University Teaching Hospital. Of course, we have also activated the hospital, waiting. They are there waiting. The emergency medical services is there. Then the emergency unit in the Arusuta are also there.
Engineer don't come here this morning before say this side it go collapse today. He never reach 5 minutes where engineer talk him come up for site. You know, not be say he fall once so just the fall small.
Now yeah, they work. This morning, engineer just tell us say this really go for this morning because
It's not just about raising the building, because obviously we are raising a building that the foundation wasn't built to carry that much. And again, Tony, I mean, away from regulators now who probably must have done their duty, gone away from the site, hoping that the owner of the building is still keeping to the plan. The question now is, at this point, why do we not have people whose buildings collapse, especially when it has been proven that it is on grounds like this prosecuted? Because maybe if we have heads rolling a couple of times, it would deter them from going this way.
You know, the truth is, I have lost a friend as a result of building collapse in River State by name Ekene Iyono. It's somebody I knew while he was growing up. Many of you who know about Iyono Street, somewhere in Awada, should also know that. But then he was just a small boy when we are up there. Somebody who was very, very, was a jolly good fellow, dedicated, committed, a handsome guy, somebody who had found his pathway in life. But you know that he stayed in the debris for many days before his corpse was found and he was declared dead. It was as a result of building collapse in River State. Many, not just him, many of them were trapped.
And the question is, why are heads not rolling? The owner of the structure that took your friend, was he prosecuted? The owners of these structures are prosecuted that fall here and there. Why are they not being prosecuted? Especially when investigations prove that they are partly responsible for that by doing what was done in River State.
The question is whether they were prosecuted when they were believed to, but I don't think if they were.
Is there somewhere in our law where there is prosecution for people whose buildings collapse and after investigation it is discovered to be their fault? Because what happened in River State, for instance, has to be the fault of both the investor and the engineers who approved such madness.
For me, it is the fault of government. If you look at the excuse Fubara gave, look at the excuse Sanwo-Olu will give. Any state where building collapses, the government of that state is irresponsible.
There is a question you've not
Very
answered.
irresponsible.
Is there somewhere in our law where there is prosecution for people who step aside from regulations?
I don't think there is anywhere in our law that says, the law says, stop them. Prevent it. That's what the law says.
Why is our law not saying punish them for not listening to the voice of reason?
The law does not anticipate that they will be, maybe over the government or be above
What are we not saying, Tony? Is it not short-sightedness for our law? Give me a second, Franklin. Is it not short-sightedness on the part of the framers of the law? Because we know that humans can always be humans, talk more of Nigerians. And so in a situation where these people keep doing this, like I said, there was a time it was littered everywhere. Literally every day you open the news, at least once a week, there is a building collapse somewhere. And the question is, we saw that frequency. What were legislators doing? Were they not beginning to realize that if these people are not hacking into government, if the government cannot stop them, you punish them when they do it, and then they will stop by themselves.
Of course. If you look,
now, from what I know, building collapse on itself, on the surface level, is not automatically a crime. But a building collapse can lead to criminal prosecution when certain things have been established. Now, how do I mean? It can become a criminal issue when what happened is as a result of a couple of things. And one is this. If there is criminal negligence or reckless disregard for safety standards, it can lead to criminal prosecution.
Exactly.
Now, if the person who did that very structure used a substandard or defective building materials, it can lead to criminal proceedings. Then if the person ignores the approval given for that very building, let's say you have the app to produce, you go to the company and you buy from the company. But when you compare the quality of the cement you buy now with what was purchased like 40 years ago, I know a building built 40 years ago. Tony, you cannot use concrete nail to drive into that very wall.
That is just that.
I'll be honest with you. You cannot use concrete nail.
They didn't use hollow blocks then. Now
you
we
cannot use
They are
concrete
using
nail.
bricks.
You cannot use concrete nail to drive into the
Strong
wall.
bricks. But now, if
It's
you want to
very,
pierce
very difficult.
Very
a building
difficult.
built 40 years ago.
the decking, check the decking, the rod.
And now I'm talking about the wall. But today you have a building that was built like last year, and it just hit the wall. It hit the wall, and everything got broken.
And then
Hollow block.
And
How else do you explain
and
it?
it's not just about the person used substandard materials. The person purchased directly from the company. So it speaks about the drop in quality of what they even make
that
as
is the
cement.
point.
Give me a second. When you
I
talk
understand
about
your points.
driving nails into walls, I've also asked questions, and I was told hollow blocks are now in use, and they are supposedly lightweight, and therefore should even be better.
For me, those who are structural engineers would explain better, because during the days we are talking about, or during the period we are talking about, hollow blocks were not common then. Of course, we saw bricks being used, but that's not the issue. The issue is companies manufacturing building products. Are they also being regulated to ensure that they conform to standards?
Absolutely.
That is the most important. I think that's the point Franklin raised. Not about those who are doing the business, because we saw those who are producing those things in Nigeria as well. These are things we must look into. Anytime there is an accident, I do say there are ones we cause by ourselves, but government must play its role.
Do you really think, Tony, that the cost of building materials is a leading cause to these collapses? I mean, in terms of the government controlling the cost in that sector. I mean, cost of materials in that sector.
It could play a role, but mind you, that issue of building collapse has been there for a very long time, because we have the attitude of those who like to cut corners no matter what. It has always been there, but even the cost of some of these things could also play a role, because there are some developers that will tell the cost of some materials. They will tell you, why don't you go for this, the one that is more cheaper? Why don't you go for this? Because he's actually looking at the end product, not looking at the structural integrity of what is actually doing. It is important we speak these things out. Sometimes I like calling out people so that they will take responsibility. I have said it, anywhere a building under construction fails or collapses, government must be held accountable. Government is responsible. That's what I'm saying. If it has to do with old building, government is also to be held accountable, because they ought to have seen the looming danger and avert it. It is their work. That is why taxpayers' money are used to pay those who work for government. Even government exists because of the taxpayers' money. See, let's be responsible. Let's be responsible. If we say that this should be this, let it be that way. If you don't have capacity, you don't have capacity.
All right. Quickly, a couple of matters. There is a trending video of the president's wife talking about empowerment, and Nigerians are not having it. I'll play that audio quickly, and then we look at state police, Tony.
To start Akara business doesn't take a lot of money. To start, we're trying to give hope, and to start Akara business doesn't take a lot of money. To start roasting corn, or somebody even said about grant, you see, they're saying that kuli doesn't take much. We didn't give them a loan. We gave it to them as a grant. So we've encouraged Nigerians as best as we could. What is within our hands, I have given, and I keep giving. And those are the things we've done. I remember giving for TB. When I heard there's so much TB cases, I gave 2 billion. To breast cancer, I gave 1 billion. To food malnutrition, I gave 500 million. So those are the things we've been doing, and making sure we can make sure that whatever this government is trying to do, that it will see the light of the day. So in Agric, we've done, in social investment we have in education. We've given a little bit of scholarship, ICT training, and with NIDA. So, and
So,
all those.
Tony, the conversation now is back to the idea of the government's responsibilities and, of course, the difference between it and charity. Because the president's wife, in that particular speech, there has been trending on issues of empowerment and some other things. Now, we are coming back to the conversation about sustainability for the average Nigerian and the average Nigerian family. We're talking review of the new minimum wage and these grants that are being given occasionally. What do you make of them? Do you really think these grants are anything to go by? Now, I also do not know if the money is being spoken about by the First Lady are proper allocations or maybe things coming from her own pocket. Because the question would be, if the government is tackling poverty as it should, would the First Lady be needing to be doing all of these charities allocation or not?
Well, let me begin by answering some of the questions you put out earlier before we come back to what the First Lady is actually doing. The president promised, in fact, Tinubu explicitly promised to create at least 1 million new jobs with emphasis on the digital economy for Nigerian youths. In fact, this was one of the headline promises during his swearing in, alongside economic growth targets of about 6% annual GDP growth and security improvements. That's just the promise. And we remember his campaign slogan, the Renewed Hope Agenda context, and so many things, where he promised, in fact, some kind of employment, totaling about 2.5 million. The truth remains that these are campaign promises. Of course, these are political promises. I will always tell you that. He said that there will be a target of direct and indirect jobs, totaling about 2.5 million jobs, things like that. But nevertheless, when we are talking about empowerment, what kind of empowerment are we talking about? I think there was a federal house member who purchased Barrow and used Barrow as an empowerment. And people were decrying that. How can you, at this time, at this period, at this century, bring wheelbarrow as a way of empowerment?
We have seen people empower people with shoe repair kits.
The truth is that empowerment
To another election in about 6 months. By the 16th or 17th of January, if I'm not mistaken, we should be at the polls again. And the jobs promised in the past 3 years and 6 months have not been delivered. What do you think is the bottleneck towards the creation of these jobs? And like you mentioned quite rightly, these people, are they skilled enough for sustainable empowerment? It is one thing, this hand-to-mouth empowerment thing, how sustainable is it for an economy that truly wants to grow?
I think we have the low-hanging fruit we can even leverage on. I thought that when the president was talking about digital economy or digital setup or digital, these are areas we can tap. Virtually everything is digitized these days. Both payment, both processing, both procurement, both purchases. There are so many things going in the digital world. How are Nigerians bracing up this? I have said it many times that we are still in antiquity. You know what that means? People who were once in antiquity, that's where we belong. The point is, we have not really defined what we mean by productivity and empowerment. Look at agricultural belts, many untapped areas. Look at the value chain, the energy, because some of these productions require energy. Apart from the manufacturing sector, apart from these areas, there are areas that may not require energy, like in agricultural, sector, where you need energy in form of diesel. You need in form. How much are these things sold?
Okay, Tony, I want to strike this. I want to come from another point of view, so that we also look at it from that point of view. The First Lady said they're trying to give Nigerians hope. Of course, the slogan for the government of the day is a renewed hope. And they've been turning out policies, framework, and initiatives that they believe that they are going to give hope to Nigerians. And the First Lady said they have done their best in trying to help Nigerians or trying to help them. And she said that what they are giving is grant. In some cases, they give 50,000 naira. In some cases, they give more than 50,000 naira. I mean, for the people they want to empower. But when they want to empower those who are going to work for them for election, they give cars. So these are two scenarios we have. But where I'm going to is, if you look at what this government is doing, whether from the point of the wife of the president or from the president, Is the government actually giving hope to people by the virtue of the kind of initiating policies they are bringing out to help to empower the grassroots? And what kind of hope if they are giving hope? Then if you look at this very empowerment she mentioned, that people can start quickly do akara business from a microscopic and remote point of view, what impact do you think that this very grant can make in the life of a certain family in the village that might not have that capital of 50,000 to begin any business? I once met somebody in Noka that built a one-story building for fine akara. And just give you an example. So if you now look at the way Nigerians are criticizing her, and Nigerians being unfair to her, or Nigerians are speaking to reality because they want to see a development that is sustainable, not just development for hand to mouth, but development that can see a family emancipated for life and even being able to trickle down to other families.
Well, we must first define what hope is, because when we talk about hope, people may not understand the true meaning of hope. When we talk about hope, hope is more like confident expectation that something good will happen in the future. When you have this confident expectation that something good will happen in the future, even when the present situation may be very difficult or somehow maybe tiring, devastating. Having said that, there are objects of hope, and objects of hope may not really be hope itself. There are things that you can deploy that act as object, but they are not hope itself. Giving somebody 50,000 naira for whatever is never a hope. It cannot. But one could look at it from an informal sense that it could be a kind of a teaser. But it's never hope. It cannot even be renewed. Let's be a week. Within a week, how much is the price of gas? How much is price of some of these things? So my concern is, what can you may think that somebody can start a kind of business with 50,000 naira, but the question is the person skilled? How much is even charcoal? How much is firewood? How much is frying pan? How much is some of these things? And then the skill, the most important thing, the skill, the market.
Break. When we come back, the conversation will definitely continue. We have one or two more issues to quickly touch on. We have talked extensively about stage splitting. We'll give you an update on where it is, the legislation precisely at the moment. For now, we take a break. Do stay.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM.
Wow! I feel good. Ladies, are you ready to look beautiful, feel confident, and embrace your best self?
Welcome to Anna's Secrets Wellness and Beauty, your trusted destination for women's beauty, wellness, skincare, and body enhancement products. Looking for body enhancement, weight gain, breast or butt enhancement products? We have got you covered. Need weight loss solutions, slimming teas, slimming coffee, or flat tummy products? Anna's Secrets has exactly what you need. From feminine care products to glowing skin care, wellness supplements, body creams, face serums, soaps, scrubs, and much more. Quality is our promise.
Quality product.
Our official address, Second Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Onitsha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza, Atani Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's Bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's Bread. Udala Radio, 104.7 FM. You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
All right, quickly, Tony, as we proceed on today's edition of The Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Good to know you're still here with us, by the way. Quickly, there is a news report coming in from our correspondent, Ben Wara. I'll quickly play this, Tony, because this is happening live here in Anambra State. So.
Exactly at Onitsha, Enugu Express Road, right here at the Supermarket filling station. And as of this very morning, this is between Mapa and Mpo.
It is for the person to take care of. I've said it many times, of course. There are those involved, the local government, the state health authorities, because police must have also come in there, because the Nigerian police force, they have the powers to find out why the person who was actually dumped on the road, the preliminary investigation pointing to that. But then there should be what we call first aid first. And definitely once police comes in, they must alert, or whoever alerts the police alerts the local government authorities.
Okay, the local government authorities.
Of course, local government authorities, their head department. They will come maybe with the police and then take over the person and possibly see if they can save the life first. And once that is ongoing, police will be doing investigations about issues relating to that. But it is purely between police and local government authorities.
All right. Quickly, the Central Bank of Nigeria has directed banks, payment service banks, and other financial institutions to freeze the accounts, assets, and transactions of 6 individuals, 4 bureau de change operators linked to alleged terrorism financing. And of course, this follows sanctions by the federal government, rather indicating that criminal prosecutions will now commence against those implicated. And that one particular one that we mentioned yesterday that's been fingered by the United States to be a major terror financier. Now, the question at this point is this going to answer the questions? I mean, putting a stop to terror financing and also helping track, because I'm pretty sure that these are not the only people involved, but is this going to encourage tracking and the system and how it is going to nip all of this and put a stop to it using just these few plugs?
The truth is that just because the US is involved in this case, that's why we are doing eye service. We know the truth.
Eye service?
Oh, that's an eye service. It's an eye service. We know terror financiers in this country. Because why this one is being taken serious is because the United States of America is involved.
Now, what kind of regulations do we practice? So much so that bureau de change operators seem to always be caught in webs like this.
Definitely.
Are they properly regulated?
For you, I don't know. For you to manage or operate bureau de change, you must have operating license. And there are different classifications. There are different classes of bureau de change. There are limits you cannot go beyond. And these foreign currencies being given to you, definitely they are monitored and evaluated. The question is, some of the bureau de change we have in this country, do we monitor them? Do we evaluate them? How do we monitor them? How do we evaluate their transactions? See, there are a lot of things left in the hands of unscrupulous elements. They are just there. They are marauders. These are people who are holding this country to the ransom. Of course, many of them have accomplices in government. They have those they remit commission to that protects them. This is the country we are.
All right, then. Thank you, Tony. I understand you need to be on your way. Thank you for being here on today's edition of the Polity. Now we're heading over to the phone lines. Franklin, would you want to add anything to this move to clip these terror financiers?
Well, I think I had said much about this when we were doing our introduction, that what baffles me is that sometimes, or most of the times, we lay back, and until something prods us, until something encourages or inspires us to get into action. Like I said, that in Nigeria we have frameworks and policies already embedded in the banking system that if we actually get to follow it to the letter, we'll be able to detect all these things by the time they are beginning to spring up. But what happens is that everybody relaxes, then until maybe when US comes, when the Interpol comes, or when the UK comes or France comes, then everybody begins to act as if actually we are working. But if you want to be serious, this thing is supposed to be done at an when do. If you are going to look at some other countries that we would like to copy, you see that all these things are done, effortlessly. Take, for instance, if you have been relating with people who are based abroad in most of the European countries, you get to find out from them that no transaction goes outside the banking system. Now, why is that being done within the banking system? Is to help to have a trace of every bank transactions or every financial dealings, so that it becomes traceable. But in our own case, yes, we have a bureau de change operators who are registered, but those who are not registered, who is actually monitoring what they do? If you go to main market or a Ecoca, those ones who do the money changing, how many of them are registered in doing this thing?
Big question.
So if I want to do my terrorism financing using cash, and I get my naira, go to people who sell dollar or people who sell euro or pounds, and get the cash and hand over, who gets to monitor that very one? That's why each time CBN talks about the need for us to go cashless, these agencies begin to work based on what they are assigned to do, not working when there is a prompt or when EFCC trying to investigate somebody. See, the thing is, this is not rocket science actually. It's not. But the thing is that we don't always work. We only work when a prompt comes or when somebody's watching us.
It's really sad. What I call across to 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694 or drop a comment on WhatsApp on 0803-221-6973 on Facebook at Udala Radio 104.7 FM. If you can do this in a minute 30 seconds, let's hear your voice. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Your name and your
It's Pedro
location.
Sambiki. Good morning. Yes, my name is Honorable Udenze Mayor Okukume JP Okulola Ochendo Umezeneka Udalo. Yes, I want to thank you so much, Chief Sambiki, for your wonderful analysis this morning. More especially, that is concerned the building fall. You know, the government of Nigeria, most of the time, doesn't do what they're supposed to do. They employ people just to be collecting salary, but those people don't do their work. They only come when you start to do this now, they come to right stop work, and that is what they do. Yeah, and they can't take the necessary things that are supposed to be taken. So I want to ask the people of the state to be very.
Hear you clearly. Would you please state that clearly again?
Okay, what I'm saying is that on the decision of a thing, to me, I will ask, why is it now that CBN are rushing to freezing of their accounts? When this thing happened, as in when the American started sanctioning all these people, we had our EFCC saying that we have been investigating a particular person before now. For how long? See, I will still say this. This country, we are on serious set of people. We know all those people who are doing illegal business and all that, but we cannot do anything because some of our leaders or maybe our security agencies, they lack political will to do whatever they're supposed to do. Until maybe America, we send a note to us before we start maybe acting. You understand? To me, if you are serious as a nation, this country must forge ahead. But if you're not serious, you will keep seeing all these things. And they should stop all these nonsense that they are doing. We have registered for NIN, we have registered for BVN. Hey, we are still corruption. Your money will move from your account untraceable. Even if you report to EFCC to any particular institution, they will
Always clamor for cashless policy. That people should bank is because it's going to enable for tracking of transactions when they want to do the work. Like now, Madoke just mentioned that people who are doing legal business, people who are getting involved in corrupting. And this money went to so and so. It's based on this evidence that the court can now base its decision on.
Absolutely. All right, then let's hear you. You have do this in a minute then. Good morning.
good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is the voice of Polity from Onitsha.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my take is on the FCT police commissioner telling us that he will arrest the liquor with a tinted glass or this. See, my sister, let me tell you, if they like, let them tell drivers to remove all their windscreen. Let the whole car be empty. I will start doing fine akara. So you know that she's not different from my husband. Because when our husband is doing campaign, he told us they will employ ministers in the army. They will give them a cassava and abado and corn. The same thing now in white still telling us after 3 years later, they keep on repaying. So why do you say that poverty will leave Nigeria? Have you seen the poverty mindset these people have? That if you want to empower me now, as I'm standing now, you will give me money to go and start frying akara in the street. Like what the speaker said, if everybody started frying akara, or everybody started frying roasting corn, who will not buy each other own? Nigeria, we need to wake up.
Look on WhatsApp. Okay, on WhatsApp, let's start with yours. He says, "Good morning to you all. People are ready to help the person with injury all over his body, but they are afraid to do so because of what is happening in Nigeria. The police might arrest you where you're trying to save lives." Emeka from Omagba, is this how low we have sunk as a people? And I do totally understand your sentiments. However, it is really sad that this is what has become of us. In insane climes, somebody has an emergency and everyone stops. And here, everyone minds their businesses because it's a pity. It's a pity what the Okay, now I'm not going to use that word you used. He said what politicians call empowerment. What good-spirited people in Nigeria do as charities. For the numerous collapsing of buildings across Nigeria, it has not been taken seriously. Not until the persons involved are brought to book. Exactly. It will continue to happen. What are the penalties outlined for building?
Collapse will remain perennial until the agencies involved will stop corruption and do the right thing. I think we should gradually start having buildings without blocks and old patterns of building. It may reduce casualties if it collapses. Chineduan says he's watching from Pege, and he says, let the people that gave false information face the law. Eke Gona says, the government of APC is empowering Nigerians with wheelbarrows. Akara flying. Okay, that should be. Okay, frying of Akara. Shoemaking material simply because they see the people they are ruling as hungry and poor people. And he said we need God's intervention. Ogo Chupunenye says, okay, he's watching, and he's thanking us. He's watching from Bida Road, and thank you for watching. Dr. Misimo Libera from Ora says, Mr. President is still vowing to return kidnapped children after 2 months in captivity. Enough of these rhetorics. How did these innocent little children become victims of fear and uncertainty? Why did we fail them? And she says, so worrisome. Capiro International says the First Lady's comment is an indication that she is far from the people. Even 100,000 naira cannot start a Akara business. How much is a bag of beans?
Terror organizations.
And they did not deny it. It's total false. PDP and APC, they denied that. Let's not put out the wrong information. They denied it. If you just use your phone, go to Google. You see the story on Punch.
Simple.
You see the story on Punch. See it on other paper. They denied it, but it does not deflect what the court said. But whether they denied, they did. Then on the issue of he asked whether there are ransoms being paid to kidnappers and co. Yes, some of them are paid through the banks. We must be honest. Some of them paid through the bank. Majority of them are delivered cash. Some accept crypto because it cannot be traced. That's what many of them do. Now, what we are asking is, because what we are saying is, for the fact that we have this very